Malo. Tamu to mafi. Tapu e tuyo tonga king to bowo no ka ma kuina spau for the Commonwealth. O ko de pege hufanga ngai fa tapu ka ve hoko tai pe ta press conference go ni e ho ta ni. Ange pe ko mo iloi ko a honi ko a ho for AOSITELELIA ni o ta fa kai longa i ko ia o e kansa ko ni o e hu vanga fa tapu fa ai be kon ko ping October au ye fa malo LAHI ki he na tolu fa menga ngawe yo no talaki ko ni mono teke ai hoik fa fine ke fa na usivi ko ngape ko fa tamaki ko ni molava o malu ina to molava fa ngawe ke time ka na to e ahoni ko me ta pe fa ka to kanga ko me afa ko na Australia FAKATAHA ki pe mo ping October ko ni ana la ko ki ai ko mi sini ko ni ke ne fa ke sivi ka kai fe fine ko ngape ke to ni ki na to no finga ke ilo ki mua la fa nga ki ai pa mo te tari pe hanga hi to fo at pe mo ngai fo mata fa mo lulu tai pa to ki pe ha time pa ta to si o ki hanga hi fo mata la ke. This afternoon, I'm very pleased. His Excellency, Ms. Rachel Moore, Australian High Commissioner to the Kingdom of Tonga, is present with me to make important joint announcement. Firstly, today marks the final day of Pinktober, the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are grateful to all who played a key role in supporting breast cancer awareness, including Lord Vaya and representatives of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and of course, the Ministry of Health. It is therefore timely to announce with much gratitude that the Australian government has agreed with the government of Tonga through the Tongan Minister of Finance and Minister of Health to fund the procurement of a mammogram machine for Viola Hospital through the existing budget support funds. This is also certainly supports our efforts towards achieving our SDG call for SDG 3, which is called health and well-being, particularly 3.4.1. Mortality rate attributed to cardiovascular disease, cancer, chronic respiratory disease, or diabetes. Secondly, as announced on the 27th of October 2023, Lulutai's new twin-order aircraft has already arrived in Australia for final preparation before it commences in the island air services in Tonga. As we have already reiterated, reliable domestic air services remain essential to Tonga's economic recovery, development, and tourism. Before Her Excellency Rachel Moore and I share with you our joint press releases and photos of the Lulutai staffing at Wanga Wanga and the mammogram machine, let me express on behalf of the government of Tonga and the people our gratitude to the government of Australia for strengthening our bilateral relations and mutual development priority areas. It is indeed a strengthening of the long-standing and friendly diplomatic ties since 1970. Malo Pito, High Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Just to say it's an honour to work with you and your government. We fully support the work that's going into economic recovery post-COVID and economic growth, and we understand how critical aviation is to that, not only for tourism, but also for service delivery, for the health and well-being of your people, and for people-to-people linkages. We know that people have family all over Tonga, so it's really exciting for us that the plane is now in Wagga Wagga and receiving its entry into service works. We're really pleased to support not only the work on the plane itself, but also the training required for staff and the wraparound support for the aviation sector. So that includes a whole range of things, like our Bureau of Meteorology is working with weather stations at the airports. We've had 4 scholarships this year in aviation, and we're working across the sector with the Ministry of Infrastructure. So thank you for the opportunity to partner with you in this. Connectivity is core to the bilateral relationship. Finally, PM, if I can mention very briefly, just a big thank you, Mala Apito, to those people who have worked so tirelessly on advocacy in terms of the breast cancer mammogram purchase. I want to, in particular, echo your gratitude to the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance, to the Breast Cancer Society, to acknowledge Princess Pilolevu. I want to also acknowledge Lady Tangi, Dr. Anna Akawolo, who works so hard for women's health, and I want to acknowledge Christine Utuatu, who also day after day, in particular in October, but throughout the year, make sure that at the centre of our consciousness is the well-being of the women in Tonga, and we know the well-being of the women in Tonga means the well-being of the families of Tonga and our communities. So thank you for all of you who've brought that this very important issue to the centre of our attention. And just to say, we 100% support the government's decision on this purchase. Thank you, Prime Minister.
We believe it's timely to actually announce this mammogram. I mean, we went through this month trying to raise awareness about breast cancer and so forth. Maybe we should do a better job because they're not wearing pink, I guess.
But Prime Minister, you are.
But the whole thing is that, I mean, you play a very crucial role in actually, advocating the reason why we want our Hoik Fafine to get tested, hopefully if there's something there, then, we can help them before it becomes too late. And I think that's part of the reason why we want to announce this month, is that we want to take that role on actually providing a machine here in Tonga to actually help with that. Not just advocating for it, but actually providing something that you can use to test and hopefully do something about it if there is a sign of breast cancer there. So, instead of scaring people, maybe try to actually give them some good news that it's great to actually get tested and actually find out what's happening and see whether we can help before it's too late. And I like to acknowledge to what the High Commissioner was saying, all the good work that the relevant ministries are doing, especially health with Anna and them, and others in the NGOs who are actually actively going out there and talking to some of the ladies in our villages about getting tested. So we appreciate all the efforts. And yes, our plane is in Wanga Wanga, and we got some photos there, just in case you don't believe that it's in Wanga Wanga. And we got Clive. Clive is the quality manager from Lulutai. Maybe people will just say, they probably just use Photoshop to put it there. But there's only so much we can do to actually make you believe that we are actually getting this plane sorted out. And this is the current color of the plane. The whole idea is to actually repaint it to the Lulutai colors and what have you before flying it over here to Tonga to service the people of the kingdom. And with that, I'll open it up for questions. Do it in English or Tongan.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister and Your Excellency. My question is, I understand the mammogram machine is expected to arrive next year. Any specific month or date? And that's for the breast cancer donation. And for the Lulutai aircraft, what's the seat number of this aircraft?
You go first.
Thank you, Prime Minister. On the date of arrival, we'll work with the Ministry of Health on its procurement. We don't have a date yet, but we are committing to support through your budget support. So it's a Government of Tonga decision for this purchase, not only the purchase, but any training and wraparound support needed. So we'll get the right machine into Tonga and we'll make sure it's in service and the women of Tonga will be able to begin to access it.
Well, we'll try and expedite it, so the sooner the better. And I'll let the CEO of Lulu Taya.
For the number of seats, it's 19. So the reason why we went for the twin order first is that the twin order can service the two newest, Ewa, Ha'abai, and Mavao. So we needed a reserve for the bigger aircraft, the Saab. So if the Saab is grounded, the twin order can do all that. And if the Y-12 is grounded, the twin order can do Ewa and Ha'abai and the two newest as well. So it can reserve for either Saab or the Y-12. The next aircraft will not be a twin order, it will be a bigger one.
That's for the next press conference.
My first question is just with the mammogram. I know this machine gets in next year. Would there be people here to facilitate in training? Because there's a lot of times we get equipment into our country where our personnel here in Tonga, including Dr. Anna Kawola and her staff, to be trained properly in using the machine. And just the second question, I'm sorry, this question has nothing to do with the announcement, but the UN General Assembly just met and they had a vote for the immediate ceasefire in Gaza. I know Australia declined to vote for or against, but just another question for the Prime Minister. They see that Tonga voted against the immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Just a reason for both Australia and Tonga.
I'll let the Minister of Foreign Affairs answer the... Oh, Anna, yeah, you go first.
Thank you. With the training, this is not the first time we have a mammogram, so some of the staff have already been trained. I got that training in 2015 before we got the last mammogram. We will have more training because this machine is upgraded from the one that we had before, so there will be opportunity to do the training. We work with a lot of partners with our radiology section in Viola. We have Red 8 in New Zealand. They usually help with our capacity building. We also have Lake Imaging in Melbourne, in Australia, that usually help us. And with that, I'm sure that we will be, we'll get our staff trained to do it. But with the reading, I will be doing it. Thank you.
So do you want me to answer in Tongan or in English? Yeah. Go ahead. Kore ke hufanga he ngahi whakatapu kakato o whanua mo lotu, kai ataha ke whai ata ki I whakamala ala ki he whehu I koe nina e toki tuku mai. Pea oku mahu inga be ke tuku atuha ki I puipuitua, ki he whaunga ngā ue ai pureanga whakatahataha o whakatatau ki he ne charter, piko United Nations Charter, kaumaa e ngahi lao whakavaha a pureanga. Oku mui I pe tauhi e pureanga Tonga ke ngahi lao, whikau aki mo e totonu ai tangata, o kau ki ai e lao e wha, Geneva Conventions, aia o ku ngā wei whekau aki mo e whepaki pe koe tau mo e hoko, ai kou hoko koe I Palestine mo Israeli. Paku ai ai ko ngā ua o ku mahu inga I he lao ko ini ko Iraki, kono malu I o kakai I he taimi o tau, pe mo e whie mau ke whakaata hano tufaki a ngahi mea kai, kau mai supplies ki he ke kakai. Pea koe konga no wā, koe totonu o hawhanua ke malui pe koe self-defense. Pea o kui kai ke poupou I he pureanga Tonga, ki hono whakapōngi tae whakalao ai kakai, ka mai kakai whiwhine mo I whanau koe ni I Gaza. Ka ok mahino be, o kui ai totonu, ai whanua kotoa ke ne malui, a hono whanua,
self-defense, ai au kwa ia kupuni mataha, o chata ai puleanga, whakatataha, ko toki pia oku whakata ke whanua koe ni ke self-defense ka uma ke whakahoka tutuuni ai Security Council, piko ko sirio koe ni o e malu ai UN. Ai koe resolution koe ni na whakahu ia ke Security Council. Pena i vita o lewa ia ai, pau ki ai lewa whainga mahari e ke o mai e kaweinga ko ia ke aleai i he General Assembly. Pea koe tuku pe whainga mahari ai koe platform pe ia ke tala noai hanga i kaweinga. Ka koe u resolutions koe o ku hao koe me he General Assembly whikau aki mo e security o ku kaike binding. Ai koe o ke binding ia. Pea o ku koe resolution koe na e o hake koe ni e soatane. Na e kaike pehe ia o ku kaike loto a tonga ki he katoa a resolution. Na ia pe koe konga koe ki he humanitarian support me mea koe na e poupou ka kato ia e tongani. Ka koe tuu koe ni e whaunga ngā au e koe ni resolution o ku kaike lava ke te tari ki ta konga ka e tari a konga. O pau pe koe io pe i kai. Aia koe na e hanga he pure anga kanata o whakotuu ke kau he resolution e foi mea koe ni COVID na e whai koe ni Hamas i Israeli. Kana ke tāri ia he ufonua. Kana e poupou e tonga ia e foi amendment koe ia ki ke resolution koe na e whakahoko. Aia koe mea ia koe na e voti ai koa tonga ko o kai ke poupou i ai resolution koe ni. Aia te lawe pe ke uhinga e whāna kai ke lawa ai koe ke poupou e tonga. He kohi na kai ke kau he resolution nia. I kai ke kau ia hono o hofi koe Hamas a Israeli e aho fitu koe o wanoa. O katopa aho wanoa ua tolu. Na kai ke kau ia na kai ke naulot na to ke kau. Ai mea ko ia e nai mōre ai ngai mo ui lahi. Pea kai ke ngata ai nai kai haasi whakamalohi i ai ai toko ua ngeau tupu o i kakai koe o Israeli o kei tauhi pe i Gaza. Ko raki na ke lawe a resolution ia koe ni ke totono a Israeli ke ne malui a hono kakai ke le mo e koloa me ngahi whakae haua koe nai hoko. Pea koe tolu o ku tau manatu pe na tau toki whakafolau mai e toko ono taha me Israeli ko ui koe conflict koe ni. Ropana ke hanga e Israeli o malui e nau whonua. Ko tui e iai we sia ai mo ui e ni ihi koe na nau iai. Ea koe resolution koe ni o ku focus pe ia ke whakahoko ai toko ni whakawhaha a pureanga ki he states pe koe pureanga. Koe Hamas ia, koe terrorist organization. Aia o ku e kai te nau pepe nau tori au koe ke lawe ange ai resolution ia koe ni kia nau tolo. Aia koe uhinga lalahi ia koe ai position koe a tonga koe ki he mea koe ni o poupou i e tonga Israeli ke condemn ai mea koe nai hoko ke whakapapau i kia nau totonu ke nau malu i nau whonua. Ka he taim ta tau ke whakaata pe ke hu mai ai u supplies mo humanitarian aid ke tokoni ki he nihi ko nau i Gaza. Malo.
So just very briefly, first of all, to acknowledge the tragedy of the situation unfolding, I wanted to say a very sincere thank you to your Prime Minister and Foreign Minister. You got a plane out with Tongans, and you also made an offer to assist with Australians needing to leave, and we did have an Australian on the flight, and that was at a time when we were having challenges securing flights out. So first of all, just to congratulate your government on their swift action and say thank you for us. It's all about this idea of helping each other in need, and we felt very supported over that period. So thank you very much. You've probably seen our media on why Australia abstained, and I think the words we're using are we were disappointed to abstain, and that was because we felt the statement was incomplete because it didn't acknowledge the attack on the 7th of October. So we have committed significant humanitarian assistance into Palestine, most recently an additional 15 million Australian dollars. We understand the severity of the humanitarian situation. Our hearts are very much with the Israelis that suffered that attack and with the people of Palestine now, but that statement was incomplete according to our foreign policy position because of the absence of those statements that recognised the beginning of this conflict from October, understanding that it's within the broader context of decades of difficulty.
Grazie, Your Excellency. Ko whewhia ako ki he ua. Ko whewhia ki he mammogram machine ke ni kia ana, kia reda ana tau ora. Au ku mahina nau inga beni ai mi sini ko ni ko wakai ko hai tu unga ko ai ngahi siwi ko whakahoko ko ia I whalemaha ki. Ko hai tu unga ko ai whakautua ko ni tongani no tongani. Pea mo toi whamara ala mai pe
Sorry, te ai. Malo e mo whainga marie e o ku mana ke hongo ia. Koe ku wheo I o ko oa, koe ulak wheo I pe, koe kole kia tue ta ana ka ola ke ki tū mai mua ki whamala ala ke tu unga ki ai ngahi siwi ko whakahoko I he whalemahak vai o la. Koe ua ka hai tu unga ki ai whakautua koe ni I tonga ni. Pea mahino pe mahu inga koe ai mi sini koe ni ke toi whamahu inga I pe ki he hoi ki whawhine whanua. Malo. Thank you. Thank you for the ki he whehui mahu inga koe ni. Koe tau mi sini koe na ngau eki ki moana e mate ia he wanoa. Aia from wanoa ki wanoa wa toru tike ki toi whaha sivi ia. Ka koe tūkunga koe o e breast cancer I tonga ni, ko breast cancer koe kansaya o laitaha ni hoko I tonga ni. Pe ki he kakai tangata kakai whewhine. O ku follow closely pe ai e cancer o e halangatama, uterine cancer o endometrial cancer. Aia koe statistics wise, koe cancer e tolu noa fo ou. Kakai whewhine fo ou e tolu noa ki tolu nima I he tau. Na mau anga maheni mai ako no diagnosi until kua umai ki he taimi e COVID-19 wa mo whakatangata na kei kia umai ki nau tolu ko o kia e kansa pena au ki tau kohiri wanoa woa na toko taha hiva toko wanoa pe na e diagnose ka koe tūkunga ia it's tolu noa ki tolu nima pe ia aia koe mea koe uhinga hono o mai o misin koe ni ko ia tene hanga o mau ai kansa o te eki ai ke lava ko whaaki ai once o te lava whaaki ai ka kai whiwhine koe lahi taha ko osmoferia ke toi ngai sino osmoferia ke lama osmoferia ke hui pau hange pe koe kumo mea ipe I he most recently ngai family ko more ho nau toko taha neongo na e osi ave pe o fai to ki ai fai ai radiotherapy pe mo chemotherapy muri ka ke more pe mo ui less than 2 years mi he taimi ko na e diagnose mo treat ai ko uhinga ia me ko vi fai ai viviri me po ngai mo ui he guai mautui ko vaveange hono mau o kansa ko ni ai mau ia I hono fai sivi ai he kai ke tari e toko taha ko ke puke ke fa ke a frafefeka o pau ke aluange ia healthy ke fai sivi ko ia ke ilo ia ki mu au te ke hoko me ko ni ko anga pe ai ku tari ke ni malo
Mui tai peo ki whehoi whikawa. Koe ka ilo pe koe whehoi ki e PALEMIA, pe koe CEO koe ni mea heni. Koe whehoi au kia, whikaakpa mo i lulu tai, malo e ngā ue lahi. O ko lawe i pe, o ko na e iai ai iono purchase wana whātau mai koe ai lulu tai, na iai ai no nei whakahoko pia me he retirement. Koe ku waka ia koe mo ku kole pe ku iawhainga maali e lawa ilo ki he maho inga koe ia. Malo.
Te mau lava tu watu, pe koe be mea o ku ikai ke lava tu watu. Ai koe teu lava pe o whakahokat koe mau whenga koe be mo retirement fund, na mau no konga, pe na nau whatau share konga. Koe na mau whainga e lahi au pito ke analyse o ai kaha u koe o lulu tai, pe te nau fie whakatau share. Koe taim kou te whakatau share ha business, koe whailonga u te whalala koe kaha o business koe a esai. Pea koe senit koe te mau mea i, e lawa kawa a senit koe na te whakamole koe ke whakatau share. Pea nau loto lele lewa, ke whakatau ke ai konga whakatau ke shares, pea nau loto le ke no e konga. Teha whewhe ta, ke lutai.
Ikai, mahalo koe o koe nau ko mahino peo ke lawa tuku mai. Kai te o ata peo ki whewi whaos au pito. E PALEMIA koe no koe nuk whakahoko i he retirement. Ia whahoko e whatala noa pia mo Michael Bloomfield whekau aki mo e tuunga koe ni kia retirement. Whatatau ke whabandala a Michael koe whafofua e no ke ngai kautaha, whafofua ke nima nai i he taimini o ko whafofua ke wanoa miliona. Koe ku wheheu i o kia inai ha diligence ai pule anga ke ono mui i ai tuunga koe ngahi noa koe ni. Malo.
Ye retirement fund o koe komiti e unau hanga o CEO. Peko investment committee, unau mea whai ko CEO ki he propose koe pe whahano pe kai, CEO ke tuunga koe kautaha koe ia, pe tuunga whawhia maari e whapaanga pe kai. E papu whuka CEO na o sen koe mea pake ki nau lawa totongi mai a seniti, he koe nau responsibility whoke kau mea mi pa, ke lawa o tā mai no, pako uhinga lahi whoke nau no, ke mauha interest, ke wahe i he kau members koe o retirement fund, ai koe konga lahi nau ai o ai pe nau investment committee ko nau mea whai ko no o koe whai nau due diligence CEO ke umea malu i CEO ke tunga whakapaanga kau taha koe a mo katoa koe a toko hake lewa ke poate pau make lewa decision pe whiunga ke kou ahe pe tai me whui investment koe so we have investment o ki hou ko ngā ke whakakato hau mea ni mo wakai ha mea ni pa koe sam lewa o kou ahe te ai koe mea peta ke tāna kia tu i ho mo press release ho kwasi ai I'd like to thank Australia for that additional 1.25 million support for this plane including paintings and what have you ke lava hau o lele koi tongani ai ko additional 1.1 million ai o mahino lewa ai whenga glere i koni a lulu taimo Australia o maua a seniti koni ke whai ake ngahi additional ngāwe koni ke lawa i wakapuna o hao koni o service koni a tongani. At the same time, I think in the other press release, koe misini koni ke sivikansa wakilu ni mamano, 250,000 Australian, which is roughly about 400,000 panga whakilu tonga. Ai koe ngahi misini mahuinga, ai mahino mahuinga, pa mo whakaono pōni apito i nau ngāo i whai. Ko hinga peke hango e lauka ana, ke ne lawa ti teki kei taimi, o pau ku ngari mau kita kātsa, ko pau ka mata ke. Aia ko mea lahi peia koe ni u whai ai koe ni tau press conference e ni, ke raise awareness ki ai, mo whai ai kakai tō ngā, ke nau lava mai o sivi. I mean, we're going to try and get this machine over here as soon as possible. But at the same time, I know it will take time ke liliu a whenga whakaukau e ni, tau kai ngā tonga, ke nau lava o mai. Kai ki ngā tape, hou ik whawhine, kaukau ai pe mo e mautolu koe ni kau tamtangata, ke tau lava o accept the fact, te tau ala mau pe mo i kansa koe ia, hange koe lau koe ni ana. Te awhiu.
PALEMIA. Ko ki whehui. Nei ai tō wholofola e tamatu I ono whakaawa e wharealea I sunye. Nei pehe ai. O kia ngai wesia e tau o ngahi whanua mama o ange. Ngahi whanua koe taupureanga. I tō ki tō ngani, ka e kei pōpōpe a tō ngaia ke whautaha me merino. O ko whehui ke pehe nai hanga I he vauti koe nei whakahoko e tō ngani. O kune whakawhepaki e wholofola koe atu I nei whai e whakawai wharealea. Pea whakaosek pe ko haina ne whai tutu uni ko ia eo. Who had the final say in that decision?
You want to have a first go?
Malo apito, malo koe kia whakawhepaki, nge pe koe na o lawe koe ki ai ane nai. O ku tau me mipa e he pureanga whakatahataha, pa kuia e chata ai pureanga whakatahataha. Pa kuia e commitment ai whanua kotoa pe o ku kau ki he me mipa koe ni ke nau uphold the peace and security I he whanua kotoa pe. Pa koe tupe o kumahino pe ai talia koe ni, koe resolution koe ni whikau aki mo humanitarian support. Aia o kai ke wesia ai talia mo tai talia resolution koe ni he klotonga whakahoko pe ngā ue ea koe ni talu me he kamata ai whakatamaki koe ni I Israeli mo Palestine. Aia oku ikai ke iaha ha pehe oku iaha tō ke I he commitment koe ni ai pureanga. Malo.
I just have one question regarding the votes for the ceasefire. When I was counting the votes and looking through the votes, I saw that Israel was able to vote and Palestine wasn't part of the votes. Ki lawa pōki whamatala unga nei pehe ai.
O me mi pa Palestine. O me mi pa ai ku kai ke ikai. So kai ke nau la vote ko ke nau me mi pa I wena. Hange pe ko niwe mo ku kai lan. Ping tau pa Malo.
Koe whewi koni whewi e ping tau pa e PALEMIA. Te whuka ping tau pa. The question I have maybe for Dr. Anna Kawala, if early detection is very important, why do women have to wait to be screened at age 40? Kamu nau te tale ke tau whānoa. Nau screen e pe.
Thank you. Malo apito. Ko uhinga ai tali koe ki he age 40, whakapai pe, koe younger o ku kei lahi ai breast tissues, aia e lava ia ke hanga e ia mask ai kansa o ka pau o ku present ia early. So koe uhinga pe ia ai age 40, whakataha pe ia mantu koe screen koe ni o whakataua. Every 2 years you come in for your screening. Aia oku ko radiation oku ai pe ai ne kaunga oku like oku ai pe ne effect he body. So ko whafufua pe ka sa NEC 40 years and above. But ka pa o gua ha me oku ke ongo e ko ia. You can come, you talk to me, and we can arrange for that. Particularly akina tolu ko oku have family history. Like if your mother or a sister or a close relative na whakoutua ia ki na ni mau e whakoutua koe ni e lava lelei pe ia ki whai ne CV well before. I tau koe ni o hange pe koe tau iloi. Breast cancer happens at any age. Ko lahi taha hoko he tau whānoa ki tau nima. But it can happen he tau tolungofulu, even down to 28, which is unfortunate. Ka koe lahi taha koe ai lelei e mau, e mau ia I whakahoko siwi I tau whangofulu o whai ki olunga. Malo apito.
Commissioner, good afternoon. Just two quick ones. Lutai. Okay. That's right. We put out a photo of your guy in Australia. As the PM put it out last week. Should have a selfie with the plane so Tongans will understand. We put it out already. So my question is, you were saying that with the arrival of this one, the White Toll is out of service, Saab is out of service, and you can fly to the newest Hawaii in Wawa. My question is, I was thinking when you are buying this new airline, I mean this new aeroplane, it's going to help your services pick up a bit. Seeing it's coming at the end of next month, which is tomorrow, I mean November, and that's the peak hour or the peak time for tourism and also for Tongan for Christmas. Can you confirm today, you don't have to swear, but the services last Christmas was not very good. Lots of cancellations and lots of people coming from overseas, leaving from here, even my own family. They were in Wawa when they missed out for 2 weeks because of the plane. And at that time, the Otoanga Alpha was in New Zealand as well. So my point is, can you please just say that the service will pick up and everything? It's just to satisfy the customers out there. Thank you. There's another question coming up, but just quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, George. You know, I can't, you know well that I can't swear to our performance, but basically what we have is a 34-seat aircraft and a 19-seat aircraft. And that's why we are still having these problems. There will not be a solution until we increase the number of seats. And as the Prime Minister mentioned in his announcement last week, in his press conference, this is an extra 19 seats. So all in all, we do hope that we can cater for that. But basically the experience that we had this year so far, like the whale watching season, it has exceeded what we predicted. And provided with the fact that Fiji Airways servicing Wawa directly from Nandi, we have a lot of passengers from Wawa route as well. So what we do hope to achieve in this Christmas break is to provide more seats, and which is going to happen, and we increase our teams, our pilot teams, and also our engineers, hoping that we can do a lot of flights, more flights per day, and we are hoping that we can get permits from TAL, Tonga Airports Limited, so we can service at night time as well to Vava'u, to the Vava'u service at night time. We can do a Hapai during the day if worst comes to worst, and we can extend our services to Vava'u up to even 12 or 1 o'clock a.m. So we have a plan with us, and we have flights almost being fully booked at the moment up to December and January. November is is one of the low month season because every whale watching visitors are going back. But anyway, the November this year is much higher than the November last year. Our July, August, September, that's the beginning of the new financial year. Those are the highest months in terms of number of passengers since Lolodai has been commissioned. So I think we can generate a bit off the market with this extra aircraft. But moving into the future, I think we will need another aircraft, which Her Excellency has agreed to assist us with as well. Malo.
I can't swear to that.
We have additional capacity with this new airline. But the other key determinations that we consider was the fact that the twin order can cover Ewa and Niua. Sharp can do Ewa, can't do Niua. So if the white trough goes down or maintenance or whatever, then the twin order can actually do Niwa and Ewa. So I kaya nga tape he lahi ang seat ke algo e whewhanonga aki, ka tene lava kawa o pau e tuu ai white dwarf ke kaya puna ki Ewa pe mo Niwa. Ko sapi kaya lava ia. We be some redundancy ko nga pe ke hokwa tu pe service ka me e tuu ai waka.
Thank you. My next question is directed to Mr. Prime Minister and the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Following up on Lala's question about the Israeli-Hamas war or crisis at the moment, Tonga opted to vote against the resolution, which divides the Pacific. Tonga joined 5 others to vote no. Australia plus 5 others from the Pacific nations, they opted to abstain. Samoa opted to be quiet. Did you think, I understand that the resolution is a non-binding one according to Section 15 of the UN Charter and all that, but when you look at the international arena at the moment, and that's when it ties up to you, Mr. Prime Minister, you are traveling to the Cook Islands for the next peace meeting in there. And one of the things that you are after, as you mentioned last week during the press conference, was you are trying to get together, to join together as a force of the Pacific, to go and request or try to get the money for the Pacific only from the big UN money that was generated in the PIF 28, 27. And looking after this split here now of people opting to abstain, Tonga, Fiji, the Marshalls, New Guinea, and Nauru, they opted to vote for, together with America and the UK. Do you think in the international arena that with this split, even though it's a non-binding one according to the UN Charter, do you think in trying to impress the others who are putting the money in and we're trying to get some from that, will make a negative impact on that approach?
Well, first of all, we're not trying to impress anyone. This is a sovereign decision made by the government of Tonga. And second of all, priorities like climate change doesn't split us. I mean, we're all together on climate change. So, I mean, there are decisions that are sovereign-based. Some countries make their own decision, and there are others that we decide we need to come together as a bloc to actually, like climate change, as I mentioned earlier on. We're not here to impress anyone. We're here to make decisions on what we think is best for Tonga. The minister can add if she wants. If she wants. Have you?
Hello, Your Excellency. I will take this opportunity to get a comment on a research that I did. There's a visible problem arising from local business owners. That is what they called a human resource pandemic. So 2 things that I got from them is that first they can't find workers to work, and second, they also can't find the technical skills workers because most of the workers left to overseas employment. And I saw that Australia has a high number of on the overseas employment, especially the labor schemes, over 1,000 from January to September this year. And yeah, I'm asking for a comment on that. So, and I'm also going to quote some of the managers that I've talked to. What they told me, they were like, referring to Australia and New Zealand, who are taking the workers, high number of workers. They said that if you're going to take my workers for me, how about you put them in the same industry, in the hospitality industry mostly. so that when they come back to Tonga, they still have the skills, or they have developed more skills to come and work again on the industry. Or some of them said, how about you put more money into the education, especially the technical education, since you're taking most of the technical skills workers. So yeah, I'm asking for a comment on that.
Thank you very much. I think it's a good question, and I think it's a conversation that we need to always have. It's never a set and forget on this one, because it involves a lot of people. There are about 5,700 people working in Australia from Tonga at the moment. Every single one of those people are deeply valued by the companies in which they're working, and we hear over and over again that employers are looking for Tongans because of the quality of the work that they're delivering, because of their work ethic, because of the way they perform. So I wanted to start, as I always do with this question, with a thank you and an acknowledgement of the enormous help this is for our businesses and our economy, and also to reference that during the COVID period in particular, we have businesses saying they don't know how they would have managed without our Pacific labour assistance, and we know Tonga is one of the countries that sends the most people over. So it's a huge benefit for Australia that we have access to labour from Tonga. I want to acknowledge that it's great that there's remittances coming back in, and we know it's a really high portion of GDP in Tonga, but it does take people out, and it's not only from businesses, it's from families and communities. So the question is always I think for myself working with the government, how do we make this overall a plus for both countries at the country level, at the private sector level, and at the family and community level? And some of those points you raised are exactly the things that we're trying to shift. So the length of time people are able to go, the sectors they're able to work in, the training that they get before they go, while they're there, and the skills that they come back with. I'm really excited this week, for example, aged care for the first time has people that have been trained in Tonga that are coming out to Australia. I think there's 9 this week and 12 altogether this month that are going to Victoria and Queensland to work in our aged care sectors. They'll continue to get skills development while they're there and to come back. At the end of the day, individuals and with the help of MIA will decide where people go, and people might choose to take opportunities in the sectors that they want careers in, and we would certainly support and encourage that. And I mean, you sound like you're quoting Jason from the Tanoa. You might be quoting others, but he certainly used that line to me, that he supports people to go out, but he wants them to come back. And we know that tourism is such a critical sector for Tonga's economic recovery. So we are keen to continue to hear from you about changes that we can make to the program. And this program is constantly evolving because of feedback we get in from governments, Tongan government, but also other governments in the Pacific. If we can do things better, please let us know. We do take it on board, and you can see that from the changes we've continued to make to the program. Thank you.
If I can just add, part of the response, I guess from our side, from government, with the assistance of Australia, is reallocating some of the budget support to actually building a new training facility for our nurses, and recognizing the fact that some of the nurses are leaving to New Zealand and Australia. Hopefully, we can have then more nurses, so that we can cater for that demand plus what we need here in Tonga.
Kataki whamoemori pe tangata ki PALEMIA ke whakaosa te peu ki whehu e taha koe ni. In English, if I may. The World Health Organization has pleaded with countries to support the humanitarian ceasefire or the UN resolution, and Tonga said no. How will Tonga's opposition impact the acceptance of of your Minister of Health's new appointment or new role early next year on the World Health Organization? Because Your Minister of Health is a member of the government that opposed the wishes of the World Health Organization.
Malo, hange ko na ko tu pe na os mahino pe e ku ai ko ni ai pui tu ako ni ki he resolution mo nga he uhinga ko na e whakahoko ai tutu ni ko ni ai pure anga Tonga oku me mi pa kakato pe a Tonga i he pure anga whakatahataha me mi pa kakato pe a Tonga i he kautaha koe ni whikao aku moe he World Health Organization. Aia koe u platform ke he kehe pege lava o whaiha lea ki he ngahi kaweinga whakamāman lahi o kuiai ai tokanga ki ai. Pea kai ke oku ata pea Tonga ke whakaha a honoloto. Ka koe tutuni, koe ngahi tutuni ko oku whakahoko, koe mea peia koe e whakahoko. Ko kai ke peia koe kai ke te loto ka mea pea os koe patau tea ea ki ta ha mea kehe. He tonu ke tau ataina pe whonua ke ne whakaha honoloto, ka koe au whangatuku, koe hae mea koe oku loto kia he tokolahi, koe tutuunia koe whakahoko. Hange koe resolution koe na tau lau ki ai. Nai carry a resolution ia koe whanua ia na mau wahe tolu e ua ia. Kai ke tau tea i kaka ia nai kehe na opinion he mea. O koe ke ngā ue pehe ai wanga ia koe ai whingawe aki koe ni ai pure anga whakatahataha mo oku iai pea u ngai ka veinga ke e kai ke whahaloto tahai. Ka koe mea mahu inga, oku iai whainga maari ke ngai whonua ke nau lea aki ai mea ko oku nau tui ki ai. Pea koe tuuni ko hai pe ko tōlahi i he taimi ko 5OT ko nau tōru lewa ia ku carry ai tuuni ko ia. Ko tupe ku mahino pe ia he ku iai u issue ke hei au ke tauloto taha tau tolu ki ai. Ka koe pao whangatuku, koe mea ko loto ki ai tō lahi, koe mea ia koe e carry. He ku iai u konvesi o ia au te ke whamooni a Tonga ia ki ai. Ka ukai ke mau ai pe hoko ke tau tea ia a Tonga nia, i he tokoni ki he ungai tawhaaki ko ia. Ange koe tawhaaki koe ne gender equality mo mea, ukai u konvesi o te ke whamooni a Tonga ki ai, ko hui whaiteria pea Tonga ia he mea o ku whamooni ki ai mo kai ke whamooni ki ai. Ka koe ke taofi ai tokoni mai ia e ufonua ki he tawhaaki ko ia, ngai tawhaaki kakai whewhine mo whanau, mo kakai koe ni disabled. Ai koe mbea beke mahi no koe platform ke lava ke alea ia hea whainga mea, pea koe whika koe toko lahi tene determine a outcome. Kai ke tau tea ia e kaka e whanua ia he nauhanga o whakaha a ho nau loto whekawaki mo issue ko ia. Malo.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister,
Yep.
High Commissioner. Just a quick one following the PALM scheme in Tonga, what Australia is doing and what Tonga is doing. I understand Canada has joined in just recently. But apart from that, there's money coming in and we are losing population. As you were saying, it's up to them to decide to come in there. But looking at the public service in Tonga, Mr. Prime Minister, we are losing personnel from His Majesty's Armed Forces, Tonga Police, senior officers from other ministries to go and work in Australia. At the same time, this is recovery stage from COVID-19 in the HON.HU and the tsunami after that. The prices of goods is going up. And it's not funny when petrol is still climbing up now. I can barely put in a couple of liters in my vehicle because of the 349 currently. Has the government think about putting on a COLA just for a break for those that are staying in Tonga? Just to assist them.
COLA, cost of living allowance. Well, as I stated in Parliament, Chelsea, we are doing a review, and there's a possibility that we may actually give a call. I think I've made it clear in Parliament that we're doing a look at the whole of government and then see how, and plus whether we can afford to actually do that. The other thing about losing staff, it's not that dramatic. I haven't seen a huge number in terms of senior people leaving. I'm in charge of police, so I haven't seen any senior people leaving police. I'm also a Minister of Defense, so I'm aware of some of them. Well, you know, one staff is coming to the Prime Minister's office. You know, another one's going to the fire department. So, you know, it adds values to other ministries. It's not really going overseas per se. There will be a couple. But it's not really of concern to us. I mean, the concern is like the nurses and the teachers, you know. Those are the people on the ground that we like to actually see, make sure that there's sufficient teachers and nurses to man our hospitals and also our schools, which is why we're going to build a new nursing school, which is why we increased the enrollment in the Tonga Teachers College. So now it's about triple the normal numbers that we normally take for teachers' education. Triple because we want to have more teachers, because we recognize some of them, you know, they go on the seasonal workers program, you know, as you pointed out. But for other senior officers, I'm not too aware that, you know, whether they are leaving in large numbers or not. But definitely, if it works out, I'm happy to actually ask the Minister of Finance to see whether we can afford to actually have some more additional cola.
$80 a bag now. One last question, Dr. Kaola. Sorry, it's a bit like a trivial question, but how many male have suffered, according to your record, from breast cancer, and has there been any death?
In male is not very common, as you know, but we've lost about two. I know of two people that because they come in too late. They feel the alarm, but they didn't think that it would be breast cancer. So both of them have died within not too long after they knew that they had the thing, because they came with metastatic disease. But so that's the message here ke aluga ki tua. O koe ko breast cancer o hoko peka kai vivine, o hoko peka kai tangata. Ka paulewa kua tangata o ku whaivo o kua whakawhewheka ma ke heia from the usual. Ta tau pen meka kai vivine. It's time you see a doctor about it. He fie ma o ke whai e sivi ma ke he, ko hinga ke ilo pe koe kansa en pe kai. Thank you.
Ai koe tue tai nimi whae te mau wholau he tua pule lulu. Ki he whātaha koe ne kautaki koe ni lalotonga, ka mata he mōni te. Lere ai i he wike kakato, whātaha koe ne kautaki he mōni te. Hangi pōkoe nau lau ki mua. Ulahi pe ngahi tōpiki. Whae hano tālangai. Ka te whito mo te koe na ki o koe ki kopu awalu. Kopu awalu whukto ka matai a tau noa nove maa le reha whime whu wike ua. Koe penia ki mahino waha position power e Pasifiki. He taim na oa tala noa he ngā issue hangi ko loss and damage pa mo mo umea pehe ki mahino ki mau alfa ataha mau tatau ka atoa pehe ngā issue pe. Mahino pehe ngai me te mau keke he. But some of the key issues o ku whi mau pe ki mahino. He taim ko mau lava toi kon ki UAE. I he whataha koni o kopu ua walu. Ai koe tuu e tai nimi e wholau koni ki he whataha koni o kautaki koni whai koni lalotonga. Au kau pe fokai mahuinga ai ko ngā foki ke sio ki he whingawe aki he ko tonga foki o kusea hoko. Ke tau sio ako me ngai mea konu whai kukailani, hārewa e tau mea e whai koe he hoko atu koni he tau sea koe i he Pacific Island Forum ki he tau kahau. Kako ki o ngongo pe ia te mau try and get some information me Cook Island as often as we can. But if you have any question on that one, this might be a good time. If not, we will just do a regular press release. What have you? No? High Commissioner, you want to have a...
Just to say thank you, Prime Minister, for this opportunity. We're really excited about both of these initiatives, and we've got some more good news coming later this week. But today was a very special day for us, so thank you. It really does give examples of the partnership that we consider very important and of top priority to Australia. And going into PIF, I think it's good to have these conversations. So thank you very much.
Hello, I think it's world deserve ke tau whamalo ki Australia, tau te whito ki to koni ki he wakapuna, to tānak mai koni tāpoi ni wanima, ki he whai koni ngai ngā aue kai to hae wakapuna o puna koni tongani. Pa mo whelotoi koni mo wharepaanga, ke mai wakilu ni mamano koni ki he mammogram koni ki to koni ki he kakai whewhine. And I think mo tolu ka whai ngongo, mo te ke atu whai ngongo ko ia whai ai kai ki ngata pe ka kai whewhine, ka koe ka kai tangata ke nao mai o sio ka ana ke whaatesi mo wala mea pe ka ki ano mau ke te kria mahino koe ki a mea ke whaatoka angiai paure wā mea ke taongiai, pa tau toangiai ke I time. So again, High Commissioner, thank you very much for joining us for this press conference. I think it's worthwhile doing it, given the importance of breast cancer and actually advocating for the need to get tested. And hopefully we can expedite getting the machine here as soon as possible. But appreciate all the assistance from Australia. Whamalo lahea tō mō lawa mai, ngahi whehui whakatangi be e tokoni ki o mō whahako whatongia e whamalala ngahi mea au tōangia I koni e kāinga tonga. Kai tōpe mua ki tau whaas, I'll just say it. Au Grace tau ekisi ukalaisi, o whaitamai, whioi la malia maanio ni tuku ia mātolun ki o nahili, e whaipio tangata. Amen. Alo, thank you very much.
Watahakoe ia ka whaingongo pe mo e PALEMIA ho AKAVAMEILIKU pe pe hoki tawhakaloha a Australia ki tonga Rachel Moha pe pe ma ka whaingongo me tonga ni ka mai hoki pe mo e minisa ko ia ki muri a whikita o te kamanu pe pe hoki ki e ki tale ole o ko ia bona we moui taka ana ka ola ka ma hoki ai pule ko ia o lulu tai nā kama koe I honi ki he whakataha koe whakatawangi ni aulele atu ki tapakatoa o tongani pia mo morina whoki ka whaipatangi koe me he rotkom he hoadan ka ki ai Aripate Junior ki sina pe woke pita takafua When I level before, Mesake, Pamokioa, Mason George building in the Walofa, Kwasa, Slovaka, Momea.